Brothers and sisters, I stand before you today not to offer the promise of an easy life, but to speak plainly of the war we all must wage, a war that stretches far beyond the battlefield of the flesh. The war of the soul. The war that begins before we even take our first steps into the world. Many of you, I know, have been plagued with worry. The future feels like an ever-encroaching storm, a whirlwind that swallows up all light, leaving nothing but confusion and uncertainty in its wake. The fear of what lies ahead, of the weight that will inevitably settle on our shoulders, is a constant companion to many. I've seen it in your eyes. I've heard it in your voices. It's a noise that grows louder with age, isn't it? A murmur that turns to a deafening roar the moment we realize the truth of what life demands. The future is not a gift, but a battle. And if we are not prepared, if we do not steel our hearts and minds, we will be swept away in its tide. But let me tell you, my friends, the storm may rage, but the key to standing firm is not to brace yourself against the wind or hide from the rain. No, the key is to recognize that you are not alone. You never were. To face life's battles, one must first understand the nature of those battles. Life does not make deals with us. It does not promise soft lands or gentle mornings. Life is a brutal, unrelenting force, much like the storm that we hear on the horizon. It will test you in ways you never thought possible. And yet, it's not the storm that defines us. It's how we face it. To worry about the future is to acknowledge the weight of our existence. And this weight is not light. It is not meant to be. The price of being alive is the weight of the unknown. The never-ending demand that the world places on us, expecting us to endure without flinching, to move forward without pause. We are soldiers in this war. And like any soldier, we are handed a weapon at birth, our heart, our will, our faith. And as we grow, we learn that this weapon is tested every day. Let me tell you, worry is a form of surrender. It's the enemy's first strike. It doesn't matter how many years you spend hiding behind the walls of what-ifs or maybe one day. The truth is, life is already happening. And all the time spent worrying is time lost in the trenches, running from the inevitable. You cannot outrun your own life. Listen carefully now, because this is a truth that can either break you or make you stronger. The road ahead will never be paved. It will not be neatly marked with signs of safety or comfort. Every step you take will be through uncharted terrain, filled with hidden dangers and pitfalls. There will be moments when you will fall. You will stumble. You will feel the weight of failure pressing down on your shoulders like a 100-pound stone. But let me tell you something you must never forget. Failure is not the end. Failure is just another battle. It's not about winning each fight, it's about staying in the fight. It's about standing up, even when your knees are shaking. It's about taking the hit, feeling the impact of life's blows, and still, despite it all, standing taller. This is what it means to grow. This is what it means to be strong. The world does not demand your perfection, it demands your perseverance. Let me ask you, brothers and sisters, when was the last time you allowed yourself to feel the weight of life, truly feel it, and still rise? When did you stand tall? Not because you had it all figured out, but because you had the courage to move forward despite the fear. In this war, there are no heroes. Only survivors. Only those who endure. And let me tell you, no matter how hard you fight, no matter how many battles you win, the war will continue. Life is not a singular battle. It is the culmination of countless skirmishes, victories, defeats, and sacrifices. But if you want to know the cost of winning, I'll tell you plainly, it's not a single victory, it's the strength to keep fighting. The strength to look at the storm, to feel the fear that gnaws at your soul, and to step forward anyway. Victory is not about living without wounds. It's about carrying those wounds with honor. It's about finding peace in the midst of chaos, understanding that your struggles are not a sign of weakness, but a testimony to your strength. You see, warriors do not become legends because they avoid pain. They become legends because they live through it. They endure the storm and emerge stronger. There is another truth that you must come to understand, and it is this: you are not alone. Not in your battle, not in your pain, not in your fear. You are never alone. We fight together. We fall together. We rise together. When the war comes for you, when it stands at your door with all its fury and all its doubt, know that you have brothers and sisters beside you. You have those who will fight with you in the trenches, those who will hold the line when you cannot stand, and those who will help you rise when you fall. That is the promise of brotherhood. That is the gift of faith. We are called to be soldiers in Christ's army, to fight not just for ourselves but for each other. To face the battle together, shoulder to shoulder, because the war is not just about survival, it is about salvation. And in the end, when the storm clears and the battlefield falls silent, it is the bonds we have forged in the fire that will endure. The love we shared, the sacrifices we made for one another, the strength we gave to each other, it is this that will carry us through. Brothers and sisters, the future may seem like an enemy waiting to strike. But remember this: though the road ahead may be long and filled with obstacles, we are not alone in this war. The grace of God is with us. His strength is our shield, His wisdom our guide. And together, we shall not fall. So I say to you today, let go of the worry. Let go of the fear. Let go of the weight of the unknown. Instead, stand tall. Keep moving forward. Because the future is not a place to fear, it is a battle to face with courage, with faith, and with the certainty that we do not walk it alone. Let the storm rage, but let us be ready. Let the winds howl, but let us stand firm. The future is ours, not because it is guaranteed to be easy, but because we are built to face it. Keep moving forward, and do not fear. The war is never over, but we are built for it. We must acknowledge that the battle for our hearts and souls is not just one of external struggle, but of internal direction. In this life, we must not live according to the ways of the world, but according to the will of God. And what does this mean for us, the soldiers marching forward into a world of uncertainty, of expectations, of ever-growing pressures? It means this: that every battle, every worry, every moment of fear that we face must be filtered through the lens of divine wisdom. We have a need for discernment, the ability to see through the clouds of confusion and recognize the path ahead. Life is not simply a matter of pursuing success or avoiding failure, it is a matter of seeking the will of God in all things, both great and small. It is in this spirit that we must ask ourselves, what is truly worth fighting for? You see, brothers and sisters, there is a fundamental truth that many of us overlook: preparation is key. Just as a soldier trains for battle, so must we train our minds and spirits for the challenges of life. We have to learn the need for study, not simply as an academic exercise, but as a way of preparing ourselves to engage with the world in a meaningful, intelligent way. Knowledge is not for vanity, nor is it merely for survival, it is a tool for righteousness. In our world today, the desire for success often drives us to chase after material wealth, fame, and fleeting pleasures. But true success, the kind that endures, is the one that equips us to serve God and our fellow man. This is why we must study, not for the sake of glorifying ourselves or chasing after worldly accolades, but so that we can fulfill our role in God's plan. What are you preparing for? What battle do you foresee ahead, and how will you be ready for it? It is not enough to go through the motions of life, you must arm yourself with wisdom, understanding, and a heart that desires the truth above all things. The world will tell you that knowledge is power, but the wisdom of the Church teaches us that the power of knowledge is in how we use it to humble ourselves and serve others. Whether you choose to study the sciences, the arts, or the scriptures, let it be for the building of God's kingdom. Study not just for intellect, but for sanctity. Now, we must also confront a pressing concern that weighs heavily on many of our hearts: the question of vocation. What path should we choose? The battlefield of life offers two primary front lines, marriage and monasticism, and each has its own unique demands and rewards. There will always be an inner turmoil that many experience when considering these paths. Both paths are holy, but each requires a different kind of spiritual preparation and sacrifice. Marriage is a beautiful vocation, one that calls a man or woman to live in self-sacrificial love. The married couple fights together, side by side, with the goal of raising children in the faith and creating a home that reflects the love of Christ. Yet, monasticism, too, is a sacred calling. The monastic, isolated from the distractions of the world, dedicates his or her life entirely to the service of God, living in silence, prayer, and contemplation. This path, while free from the responsibilities of family life, is not easier. In many ways, it is a harder battle. For in monasticism, the soul is tested by isolation, asceticism, and the constant struggle to tame the passions. It is better to follow the calling of your heart, the vocation that God has laid before you. If you feel called to marriage, embrace it fully. Build a family, create a home, and do it with love and sacrifice. But if God is calling you to the monastic life, understand that it is a higher calling, a life dedicated entirely to prayer, service, and the pursuit of holiness. Both are essential. Both are worthy of honor. But both require the soldier's heart, the heart that is willing to sacrifice, to give, and to face the battle with no retreat. Another battle we must face is the desire for stability. How often have you felt the pressure to settle down, to find your place in the world, to secure your future? This desire for stability is natural. It is the human longing for peace, for certainty, for something that we can grasp when everything else feels like shifting sand. But do not ever place too much stock in worldly stability. There is a need for a balance between planning for the future and trusting in God's providence. Stability is not found in material possessions or in securing a job or a home. True stability comes from within, from a heart that is anchored in faith. In a world that constantly demands that we settle down, buy a house, get married, and secure our place in society, the challenge for the Christian soldier is to recognize that our true home is not in this world. Our true home is in Christ. Yes, it is necessary to make plans, to provide for our families, to secure our livelihoods. But we must not become too attached to these things. We must always be ready to face the unknown, to leave behind the comforts of our plans if God calls us to something different. It is a constant battle between the world's pull toward material stability and the soul's call toward spiritual freedom. The Christian soldier understands that true peace, true stability, is found in surrendering to God's will and trusting Him with the unknown. In all of this, the heart of the matter remains unchanged. The battle is for the heart. The key to peace in life is not in the external world, but in the internal one. When the soul is at peace with God, when it has found its anchor in Christ, nothing can disturb it. Worry about the future is often rooted in fear of the unknown, but if we trust in God's providence, if we remember that He holds all things in His hands, we can face the future with a calm heart, knowing that we are walking in His will. The struggles of life are temporary, but the love of God endures forever. The more we seek Him, the more we fight for Him, the more we can rest in the assurance that the battle has already been won. So, brothers and sisters, as we look to the future, let us take up the mantle of wisdom. Let us prepare ourselves with knowledge, let us choose our vocations carefully, and let us place our trust in God's providence. The road ahead will not be easy. It will demand sacrifice, hard work, and the willingness to embrace uncertainty. But in all of it, we fight not just for survival, but for hope.